Welcome to the Adventure Pilots review of Frozen 2 with spoilers review.
Yes, with the spoilers.
Of Frozen 2. We are currently filming this first before we film the actual end of last week's video, where we did our entire Frozen 2 day, which is actually still technically today. But we're wanting to release this a week later because we want to make sure everyone had the ability to see it. But these are our first reactions with spoilers to Frozen 2. First off, from the top, so that way you guys don't have any doubt what we're talking about. This is probably my favorite animated Disney movie since Beauty and the Beast.
Wow, that's saying something.
Beauty and the Beast is my all-time favorite Disney animated movie, but this is very, very, very close to beating that because I personally think Frozen 2 is probably the best sequel.
Oh yeah.
Really ever.
For sure.
To be established in an entire universe. I adored this movie wholeheartedly. I think it's easily one of the best. And so what's your theories? What's your stance from the top?
Alright, from the tippity top. I also would agree that I absolutely loved this movie. This was like a fantastic movie. Like if I could compare it to any other really popular movie, like just in the level of popularity and how good it was, I'd say like this is like kind of a Marvel movie status. I felt like, because even though like, of course, Marvel movie, that's like totally another world. So Marvel fans, please don't hate me for this, but like I just really think that with Frozen 2, it brought out a lot of personable characters. And this may be going too deep into this smaller aspects of the film, but just overall, I felt like it was very personable. I felt like, kind of, as I mentioned before, there wasn't like any real, like, bad guy, like a good versus evil sort of thing. But there was just more of like a general conflict which each person had to go through, which we'll dive more into later as well. But yeah, I guess just to sum it up, it's an absolutely fantastic movie, and this is way, way a million times better than the first Frozen.
And I agree. I'm in that camp that I think Frozen 2 is way better. Anyway, let's launch into the nitty-gritty of the movie though, because the rest of you guys have already heard our thoughts from before. So, right into it. So I think the very beginning of it was kind of interestingly rushed. You're kind of thrown in, which I think is good. You're expected that you've seen Frozen, or at least you've heard of Frozen. And they even do their own little summary, like maybe about a fourth of the way through the movie, which is kind of cute.
Yeah.
But they really just want to set it up straight, but there's like 3 songs that are back to back to back. It's interesting because I love how it opens up with the kids, Anna and Elsa, first, and it has this really cool storytelling thing. There's a really, really pretty song that the mom sings that's going to be brought back later in the film as well. And if there's any thoughts that you have here, just interject. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did. So yeah, as mentioned before, it felt kind of rushed. Like literally, you had 4 minutes of like, okay, so let's learn about this enchanted forest.
Yeah.
And also, like, it was just kind of funny just how it was brought up. So, in the movie, you have, like, the girls playing Enchanted Forest with magical fairies and all this fun stuff. And then afterwards, like, you just have the father come in and he's like, well, let me tell you about the real Enchanted Forest. And kind of just, like, goes into, like, this kind of terrifying
this insane battle, you know, that, like, oh yeah, by the way, your grandfather died during this battle. And, like, all this stuff happened with this neighboring northern tribe
and that
you probably have not heard any of this about, but I'm the only person here. Have no idea how I got here, but I'm king of Arendelle now. So
it's, like,
crazy.
And, like, the kids are probably like, wow, this is the craziest bedtime story I ever got.
Yeah. But it's cool, and I love the music, and it launches into that, and then it fast forwards to present day in Arendelle, and you have a nice little song. It almost like reintroduces all the characters again as they are now, and you have Kristoff preparing to propose to Anna, which is his story arc throughout the entire thing, which is kind of cool. It's a nice little touch, because again, it's the whole concept of just love again that we were talking about from Frozen 1. However, the way they're approaching it in this one's a lot more fun.
Yeah, and also it's very realistic. I mean, like, obviously Anna and Kristoff have been dating for a good while now. And so, like, I don't know. It just also made it more realistic instead of, like, the whole, like, Anna versus Anna Hans situation. So that was a nice touch. Also in the beginning, what I wanted to mention was I really love the scene with Anna and Olaf, and it was just that whole bit about
Life
and
understanding like where you are,
right, and kind of the changes of life. Like Anna was able to really focus on, like, because Olaf was where he's like, well, I need to be mature, I need to be older. And there's all these new changes, like, I'm not ready for that. You had Anna who was saying, like, yes, all these changes occur, but then again, you have family, you have friends, you have people that are there for you, so it's gonna be alright. Even if there is change, you'll make it through.
And I really appreciated that in the theme. And then almost immediately after that, they launch into the song Into the Unknown, after a really funny game of charades.
Yeah.
And Into the Unknown, so this entire sequence that I'm talking about here, you can actually see in the Frozen 2 preview at Hollywood Studios. I've seen it, this is 3 times today. It's incredible. I am so grateful that they have that sequence in Hollywood Studios, so you can go see it whenever you want as long as you're in the park, because literally it's probably one of my favorite sequences in the entire movie. The animation, especially during the part where she enters this little black area that she kind of created for herself with this, like, everything dancing around, kind of like almost like says like a preview for the whole film. Is absolutely breathtakingly incredible. The animation is flawless, like, it's just so gorgeous, and every little intricate detail that they have in there, it's like probably one of my favorite parts of the entire film. And the song itself is absolutely amazing. I love Idina Menzel from Wicked and all the things that she's been in before, and she really brings just this powerhouse of energy to that song. It's just so great to hear.
Yeah, it absolutely is beautiful, and I think definitely a different aspect compared to Let It Go, which Let It Go is more of her, you know, just kind of trying to, like, be set free.
Yeah.
This one, it goes a little bit more further of her trying to discover where this voice is coming from and what this power is that
she has.
Yeah, within her, and it's very empowering, like a good, and I don't know, it's empowering in a different way.
Yeah. So what then happens is, after the song sequence is over, Arendelle gets almost like this cataclysmic of events from all these different elements that start attacking the city, and they force everyone out of the city. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. Eventually, Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, Sven, and Olaf are going off to the Enchanted Forest to fix whatever happened, basically, and to find the voice that keeps calling out to Elsa. And that's when they enter the Enchanted Forest, and then all these different elements start appearing, all these different things start happening, and eventually you start learning more and more of the truth in the area. You meet the new northern tribes up there. I'm jumping a lot in the story right now because we're approaching 10 minutes on this camera, so we're trying to get this going along here. But I love that they showcase that it's not just this northern tribe that's there, it's also still the people of Arendelle. Like, the soldiers of Arendelle are still trapped in this. It's like almost like a time lock. It's just they've been trapped there for years in this endless conflict. And that's fascinating. I love that. Like, it's like living history almost. And then eventually they get split up. Anna and Elsa and Olaf keep going off to find the voice, while Kristoff has continually trying to prepare to propose to Anna. Really funny moment, especially, and I called this. They technically had Sven speaking with Kristoff's voice, But this sequence with Kristoff and Sven is probably one of the best parts of the movie as well.
I know.
We just looked at each other and we were dying throughout the entire thing. It's this emotional song completely, but they're hamming this up like this 90s music video.
So great.
And it's the best thing ever to happen to a Disney movie. I was dying and it was so funny and it's a great song. It's one of my favorite parts in the movie.
If I could compare this to this video on YouTube, there's this sketch comedy group called Studio C, and one of their videos that they did, like when Hunger Games came out, was this video for Gale, and it's just like this dramatic piano piece. That's what I kind of get from Kristoff's song. Is it's like this dramatic like piece. It's very heartfelt, and I mean you got like the soul background singers and all that, which are
reindeer. Reindeer are her
So
background
dramatic.
singers, which is the best.
right. And then afterwards they just, but it's humorous. It's very like a parody of like what is considered like overly cheesy music videos from the 80s and 90s.
It's the best.
Yes.
So after all that happens with Kristoff and Sven and the reindeer, Anna, Elsa, and Olaf stumble upon their parents' ship. And I was thinking, oh, this is interesting. At first I was thinking, oh great, they're going to be a giant reveal where the parents are still alive.
Yeah.
And they've been waiting for them. That's the voice that's calling out to them. That was my first thoughts with the thing. They don't do that.
No.
They use the water because they found out through this giant thing, like Olaf, that explained that water has memories. And they reveal that their parents did die. And it's a very sad moment. But it's just so touching. And at that point, I think Elsa figures out where they're heading, where they were trying to head, because they were trying to find a way to help Elsa. They're maybe like try to help control her powers a little bit, maybe delve into it. And that's the reason why they were sailing out to sea. They weren't going to the Southern Isles. They were going to find this place, which I can't pronounce for the life of me. It sounds like Elder Holland, but it's not. It's Eldahala or something like that.
Alderthon.
I'm not gonna try. But they were heading to this mystical island to try to help, Elsa with her powers. And they got shipwrecked. I'm gonna assume by the water spirit, which was still in flux.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna assume that was what happened there. Go.
Yes, okay. I was very intrigued by that water spirit and also a little bit terrified. I mean, like, it's a horse, but just like one of the moments that could seem a little bit frightening was that you could see the horse actually trying to push Elsa, drowning her into the ocean.
And we'll get to that in a second too, because we still have to get to the rock giant.
That's right.
But yeah, so Elsa pushes Anna and Olaf away because she feels like, you know what, I'm responsible for this. They were going to find this cure for me, or at least for me, so I'm going to go resolve this. And so she splits off on her own. And she sends Anna and Olaf down Frozen's Ever After, the riverboat adventure from Epcot. Now you can ride it now. Just like she does in the sequence where she's singing Let It Go. She just pushes them down backwards. And I'm like thinking, they should retheme Frozen Ever After this. This looks amazing.
Perfect.
And they pass by these giant rock giants, which are super cool to look at.
Super scary.
And they all go down this waterfall. Meanwhile, Elsa now is trapped on her own, and she's doing this giant scene that you all see in the trailers where she's like literally fighting the water, and that's when she meets the water spirit that Sierra's talking about.
Insert part where I was talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really is a frightening horse, like she was talking about, and it's something that is kind of scary. Like, it's literally pushing her down, like literally possibly trying to kill her. And she literally has to fight back using her ice powers. Mm-hmm. But eventually, she freaking throws a lasso around it
and just
rides that thing.
Gets its trust and
I was
goes
like, okay,
to the place.
That's cool.
Right. I just love just how she was able to gain trust of the different spirits, except for the rock giants. She didn't get that until much later.
The end. But We'll get to that in a second. Because then we have this another amazing sequence. Where she's reaching out to the spirit to reveal him herself or herself, whatever it is, to reveal itself. And it's gorgeous. I love this sequence too. This is probably, again, my third favorite part in the movie. Where she's asking, where are you? Come to me. I'm here.
Let me see you.
Let me see you. And she gets into this room full of emotions and all these different things, and eventually it makes sense. The spirit is actually her mother.
That was the big... I was not expecting that at all.
I was expecting it. But
Okay. Okay. Whatever.
We're hinting it pretty hardcore.
Okay, I did not get the hint. So it was a big surprise for me when I saw it. But then it just kind of made it all the more special because, for one, that's the biggest plot twist of who her mother really is that they reveal later, which I don't remember the tribe names, but they were part of the tribe that's in the forest. She was part of that. And so really Anna and Elsa are kind of hybrids in a way.
So yeah, they're both kind of the spirit.
Yeah.
I think they're, like, in a way, they're all kind of that spirit. Maybe that's not quite very clear.
No, I don't know.
Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Maybe it's Elsa and Anna are the spirit, but Elsa has the power. Or maybe it's Elsa. Is it Elsa that...
It's Elsa. Elsa's the fifth spirit. That's what I feel like they revealed, was that Elsa,
But it was like her mother was...
Her mother, basically, it kind of looked like to me that her mother's spirit passed on the power to Elsa at that moment, and then Anna's just...
Okay, maybe that part needs to be a little bit more clear.
Yes.
We'll regroup and we'll figure it out. But regardless, the sequence is amazing. But then all of a sudden, after that sequence, it's revealed what really happened, what really caused this whole situation. And it turns out her grandpa was the bad guy. Her grandpa wanted to build this dam and this gesture of kindness towards his people, but really what he's doing is he's saying that magic can't be trusted. Magic is something you can't trust, and so therefore this group has to be eliminated, or at least you can't trust them, period.
Honestly, for that bit, I kind of predicted that was going to happen.
It was easy.
Except, I knew, I had a feeling like Arendelle, those guys were going to be the bad guys, because, you hear the story differently the first time.
Yeah.
But I thought it was actually going to be the people that were already trapped in the forest, that those were actually going to be the bad guys. Okay, but another note, I really like how, even though they talked about the grandfather did this, they didn't focus so much on the grandfather being the evil one, like...
Yeah, they don't dwell on it like Hans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the one difference I noticed. I'm like, again, when I saw Frozen, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that someone here has to be the villain. Like, I was thinking that all the way through Frozen 2, and I'm like, okay, clearly it's probably gonna be the grandpa. But I hope that they don't dwell on it, because that's what happened with Hans, is they dwelled on it. Like, he became this bad guy. He, like, charging out with the sword to kill Elsa, who has a migraine. But yeah, they don't dwell on it. It's just a little touch and go subject, which I really appreciated. They get on with it. And then it's another really great sequence with animation where they're showing all this thing, and then Elsa falls too deep gets too deep into the story, and gets trapped. And she sends up a last prayer to Anna, and then her magic is cut off, which means Olaf dies. He dies. Now, I will say this. Because of Frozen, Olaf was my least favorite Disney character. Because of Frozen 2, Olaf became one of my more, like, favorite side characters. Just because they redeemed his character so much more. He has not as much, like, jokes that detract from what's going on, more like good comedic relief. His writing is a lot better.
Right, and I feel like he definitely is more mature of a character, which also he displays throughout the whole movie, that he's, like, trying to grow up and figure out. But
his life. His existence.
Exactly.
It's really cool. But this moment where he's dying, I literally look over to Sierra and I'm like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Like, because it's literally the same thing from Endgame. Like, oh, shoot. Olaf got snapped. It's literally, he's fading away, just like in Infinity War. And I'm sure there's gonna be tons of memes about that.
Oh my gosh.
There's gonna be tons.
Yep.
Bring him back, bring him back. But yeah, speaking of, so Anna then realizes it's up to her, but she has this moment in the cave that is probably one of my favorite moments in Disney history, because they've tackled this with Elsa a little bit. With the situation of, you know, concealing your emotions, don't feeling your emotions, hiding it inside, and let it go is all about that. It's all about, you know, no, this is who you are. This is what, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to have these moments. Let it go. But now they're showing this from Anna's perspective, where she's completely and utterly alone in this cave. She feels like she's failed. Everything she knows about Arendelle is wrong because of her grandpa. She's devastated. And she has this moment where all this anxiety and all this stuff is creeping up on her, and she has this song that I think is going to be the song for kids and youth of today who are struggling with suicidal thoughts, struggling with anxiety, struggling with all kinds of manner of depression, because it's literally the perfect song for this. It's like their anthem. How all you have to do is just take one step, take another step. It's gorgeous.
Also, I really love that that wasn't just a theme for Anna for that song, but earlier Elsa, when the trolls were telling Elsa what she needed to do next, it's just like, take a step in the right direction. And
or do the next best thing.
Do the next right thing.
Do the next right thing.
Is the quote, I believe. But that's kind of what helps. I liked how that helps Elsa keep going, but then especially Anna. And it's just those moments where you do really just gotta take a step in the right direction, and whether it's getting up. I know this is getting too much philosophical. I'm gonna stop there. But yeah, no, it was beautifully done, and I'm really happy with how they tackled that.
We're gonna wrap this up a little bit faster, but basically Anna feels prompted to go and get the rock giants to freaking destroy the dam, and so she chases them down, and the rock giants start throwing rocks at the dam, which caused the dam to break. But also, before that happens, sorry, we're jumping a little ahead, because my camera's dying. But before that happens, freaking she trips, and Kristoff's there, sweeps her up, and has this really cool like moment where he says like, "I'm here. What do you need?" She's like, "I need to get to the dam." On it. That's all he does. They haven't seen each other in like, you know, a long time. She's gone through this entire cave thing, but he's there. I love that moment. It was like a good redeeming moment for Kristoff. They get to the dam. The guard, they're defending the dam because they're trying to protect Arendelle. Anna explains like, "Hey, look, no, we need to destroy this dam because, you know, this will then all break the curse, and then Arendelle will truly be saved." And so they stand down, they help Anna break the dam. And I was really, just for 1 second, I was like, you'd better not make the guard become a villain as well. They're like, "We can't let you do that," you know? And like, no, don't do that. But they don't. They don't do that. So thank you.
Thank you.
We don't need unnecessary villains in movies. All right, but they destroy the dam. Meanwhile, Elsa charges in after getting awakened up and freaking saves the whole city. I'm rushing this story, but it's just so cool. There's so many intricate details, but this video already is almost 20 minutes long, so we need to speed this up.
Okay.
All right, she saves the whole thing, saves the whole town, and everything's great. The side characters kind of have their still moment, but as a whole, they didn't really, you know, just jump in too much, which is great.
Yeah, and how I love that the way that they ended it was you got Anna taking over Arendelle. That they both find their true places where they belong. So Anna,
and Kristoff proposes. Which is so great. That was a great proposal.
That was so cute.
It was so cool.
The family was there.
Olaf's back to life again. And then the movie basically ends on a great note.
Yep. Elsa's now lives in the forest with other people of that tribe. That
Kind of like a Woody Buzz split, but like...
Yeah, but like she's with people that have magical powers, and they can still visit each other. So it's just such I feel like that was such a great way to end the movie.
So, as a whole, this is a lot longer video than we planned it to be, but we just had a lot of thoughts on this subject. I'm impressed we got it. Sorry. So, as a whole, I'm really impressed with how much we were able to get off our chest about this. We're gonna go see this again in the theater.
Yeah.
We were thoroughly impressed with it. We really love this movie. We think it's definitely one of the best things you can go see right now in theaters. Go check it out. It's worth every penny. We saw it in IMAX, and it was completely worth it. We loved every second of it. We might go see it in 4D. If you have it right next near to you, go check that out. I'm dead serious. This is one of the best movies you're gonna see all year.
Yeah, ditto.
It was really good.
Oh, man. And yes, I recommend all people to go see this. Like, if you felt like the first overhype was well, redo that. If you felt like the first Frozen was overhyped a bit, you should just see this one. It's definitely way better.
Way better. Way better.
Way better than the first Frozen.
My only concern, regardless of plot holes, regardless of whatever is in this movie, my one concern is this gets overhyped, overplayed like Frozen did, and people hate it, or it becomes cliche to hate it. Because this movie is too good for that. I think it tackles too many great topics, too many cool backgrounds, too many awesome moments, and it doesn't deserve the hate. It really doesn't. You just go see it, and it's just so great. Bring your family. It's a really great all-around movie. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Go see it.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you real soon.